Why don't we just start with, in layman's terms, what these two pitchers are being accused of?
They're being accused at its core of fraud, that they allegedly conspired to join a fraudulent activity, specifically by using wire transfers and other electronic transactions to intentionally pitch poorly to further bets. So the baseball part of it is that they're accused of rigging their pitches so that the pitches were either in the dirt or didn't reach a certain speed or were of a certain type, so that others placing bets on their pitches would win. The alleged criminal part is that they were part of a conspiracy using banking transactions and electronic communications to further it.
Got it. So if they had just been allegedly rigging the pitches, that would be a violation of MLB's rules, but not a crime.
Yeah, if they were just rigging pitches and hadn't engaged in wire transfers or alleged money laundering or a conspiracy, then yeah, that would be certainly a problem with baseball's rules. But the criminal part is that at least they're accused of being part of a conspiracy to engage in fraud. And the fraud would be not providing honest services to their team, to Major League Baseball, that they conspired to defraud sports betting companies. That is where what's a sports thing becomes a criminal thing.
Mhm. And obviously, they were also allegedly, they're accused of corresponding with co-conspirators in the Dominican Republic. So across, you know, countries.
Yeah, the key there is the interstate activity. And as you said, it's foreign as well. So the fact that the communications cross state lines allows the Department of Justice to get involved. That creates the federal crime that it went across state lines and in fact, as you said, across national lines as well.
Got it. So this definitely reignites the conversation on prop betting. Can you just tell me very basically what prop betting is?
Yeah, prop betting is placing a bet on a specific event that occurs in a game. So, for example, will a basketball player grab at least 4 rebounds in the second quarter? Now, whether that player wins or loses, whether that player scores 30 points, none of that matters. The only thing that matters for purposes of that bet is that the player accomplished the goal that the bet is about. And that is really the concern with prop betting is that it's hard to monitor. It's not about trying to lose a game or even trying to not score as many points as possible. It's really about specific events in games. And they're hard to monitor because to the naked eye, we might not notice anything peculiar. So a pitcher throwing a ball into the dirt in and of itself, it happens, right? We've seen it happen. It's not common, but it happens from time to time, and it isn't going to lead anyone to think, oh, the pitcher's rigging a prop bet over how fast he's throwing or over what type of pitch he's throwing. That's not the normal reaction to something like that. So the fact that these pitchers are accused of doing it over a period of time, in fact, 2 years, at least with one of them, part of that goes to the difficult aspects of trying to detect it occurring to begin with.
So how are the sports leagues handling this?
Yeah, the sports leagues work with monitoring services and the sports books themselves to detect if there are any anomalous betting. So with the NBA players that are accused of sort of engineering prop bets in ways to ensure that they lead to a certain outcome, there's a belief that they shared information and that there's an unusual amount of activity about often something obscure. And that will lead a sports book to say, well, why is everyone betting on this really obscure thing that normally wouldn't attract all this activity? And why is all the betting happening at a certain time? And why is it all for a particular outcome? Those are all red flags to monitoring services. And that can help leagues pick up what's going on. But if someone's good at this in terms of manipulating bets and outcomes, they can go undetected. And I think this part of it is how sophisticated they are, and also how good they are about communications. I mean, if a player is sending texts That's obviously a really bad idea, right? Because there's an electronic, this is what gets people in trouble, right? They're sending texts and emails. If someone's more sophisticated about it, they may be able to get away with it altogether, or at least be able to get away with it for a longer period of time.
Mhm. So what do you think the national, or I mean, we know like Massachusetts had a bill on prop betting last January. What do you think the conversation is going to be in local legislatures going forward now after the NBA scandal and now after this scandal?
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to ban prop bets, but there will also be significant pushback because a lot of people like prop bets. A lot of young college students and others like them. And I am sure betting companies will hire lobbyists to try to dissuade lawmakers from pursuing that. They are really popular. And at the same time, they, of course, invite a lot of questions about whether they're good. It's interesting. These pitchers are not alleged to have made a lot of money out of this scheme. I think about $5,000 payments, which is a lot, but one of the pitchers a few years ago signed a 5-year, $20 million contract. So if some might say, well, they're making so much money, why would they do it? We don't know what people do. People can react to all sorts of things in terms of financial inducement. So the idea that, oh, they're making a lot, they're not going to do it, I don't think that that has proven true. And it's at least some sorts of new safeguards on prop betting. But I think there's a pretty compelling argument they shouldn't be allowed altogether. Now, there again, we push back. Well, it's people are adults; they can do what they want with their money, so there'll be some pushback.